JoJo says that when he almost when he first met Kellen, that Kellen told him they're going to work on that jump hook. How have you seen that improve? And a lot of you big guys have had that. How important is that shot?
Well, it's probably the most common shot. You think about the evolution of basketball and the way people get the ball off. We've gone from standing two-hand set shots to hook shots from all over the court. Um, we went through the fundamental age where everything's done precision, and then post moves back in the '70s was jump shot over your right shoulder, jump shot over your left shoulder. Um, um, the shot going to the middle was called the stick shot, but it was a jump shot. And the shot going to the baseline was called a step shot. Um, so, and that's what post guys did back then. It evolved from the Kareem uh, roll hook to now this shot you have to perfect is the jump hook. And depending on JoJo's so good at it because he releases it at his high point, and he uses his length as a factor to get it off against taller players. But JoJo's also evolved. Last year um, we played through J1, um, and he was so good at it. And now um, our best low post scorer has been JoJo. So we play a lot through him. But Kellen, I think every player that Kellen has coached that started for us at the four spot, going all the way back to 2014, 15, 15, 16. I can't remember if Devontae made all conference his first year. Um, but I know every year since then, whoever played the four either made first or second team all conference working with Kellen, which is why I defined that position for him to work on. Because over the years, I always thought that was the hardest position to define, as most of the fours were smaller fives or bigger threes. So I don't think you're really able to find this is what a four looks like. And then they evolved into a stretch four or pick and pop four. Um, but don't we've really never done anything here by the book, um, which is why we've got so much mileage out of playing J1 at the four. I don't think he ever made a shot facing the basket in his life away from the basket unless he was shooting a free throw. But somehow we make it all work.
Thank you, Chris. We'll go to Michael Shapiro from Cron. Michael, please go ahead, sir.
Great. Hey, Coach. How you doing, sir?
Good, Michael. How are you?
Good, good. It was reported last night that the people from NBA 2K, the video game, are on campus and meeting with their players. Can you share any details about that? And are your players excited by being featured in a video game? Do you have anything you can share on that?
It's the first I'm hearing about it.
Are you a NBA 2K or video game fan? Do you or your son growing up play anything like that?
Are you kidding? Dude, how old are you?
Go ahead.
I was born in 1955. I grew up riding a bicycle, not playing video games.
Did Calvin play at all growing up or anything like that you remember?
Um, no, I don't remember.
That's
I remember the first video game, I guess it was a video game. We went from playing pinball to playing Pac-Man. So I don't really have a lot of experience with. I see him playing it all the time. I know when Quentin Grimes came on his visit, I think that one of the first things he loved about it was our entire team was in the locker room, and I think it was Marcus Sasser uh, said, "Come on, man, I need a partner." So in the span of 1 minute, Marcus and Quentin, when they're playing against whoever the other guys were, and Quentin said he knew at that moment that this team was authentic because they did everything together. So, but no, I don't know anything about it. I guess I'm probably too old for that stuff.
Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you, Michael. We'll go to Joseph Duarte from the Houston Chronicle. Joseph, please go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning.
Hey, Kelvin, if I could go back to when you were talking about sort of defining the four and stuff, how does Chris Sinak fit in that? I guess you mentioned he's a five, but you're going to play him at the four. Or how do you define it for him in terms of playing that position?
Yeah, I think for young guys, um, they can't be chasing more than one rabbit. You know, if I put when JoJo first got here in July of his freshman year, if I put three rabbits in a room with him and locked the door, he wouldn't catch any of them. He'd run after one, and another would hop nearby, and he'd leave that one and go chase that one, and pretty soon here comes another one. So JoJo's just and said, "Time's up, JoJo. How many did you catch?" Man, I couldn't catch any of them. Well, I use that same analogy with freshmen. I don't give them multiple responsibilities. Like when Chris got here, he was so far behind in so many fundamental areas. Um, and so we've kind of focused on two or three things with him on in different areas. So one thing in each area. And I will say this is that I'm proud of Chris. I'm proud of the progress he's making because of how unbelievable his attitude and his effort has been. Um, I don't let up. I don't let up with him. Um, all these kids that are highly rated or whatever you want to call it, most of them really have mastered the art of taking possessions off. They're really good at that. Whereas here, we don't take possessions off. So they had to not just change their thought process, but they had to change stylistically. You know, we don't play pretty boy basketball. You know, our kids are physical, tough. That's just the way we play. Um, but Chris has done an awesome job um, adjusting to us. You know, some kids you say, well, just meet us halfway. Well, Chris has come all the way to where we are. I mean, he came in here with the right attitude. Um, but recruiting Chris, you get to know their parents well. Uh, Chris uh, Chris has awesome parents. Um, they love him. They've made him feel worthy. Um, and when he came here, he came with a lot of sense of respect for other people and authority. And I give a lot of credit to his parents on that. But Chris is just scratching the surface right now. We played two SEC teams, and he hasn't played a ton of minutes, but he's got 20 rebounds. You know, if you'd have told me in the scrimmage and exhibition game that Chris would have 20 rebounds back in June, probably would have thought otherwise. But I think it's a credit to his attitude and the way he allows himself to be coached. When your most talented kids or your best players allow the head coach to coach them hard, it usually works out for them. But more importantly, it helps the coach the other kids on the team too. Chris has been wonderful in that area.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll go to Chancellor Johnson next, please. Chancellor, go ahead.
Hi, Kelvin. How are you?
Hey, Chancellor.
So I know you demand a lot from all of your players, but particularly at the point guard position. With Kingston getting a starting opportunity, at least in the exhibition, what has he done over the past offseason to where we are now to at least earn some type of consideration to be ready to play right away?
Um, well, some of it was by default. Was Isaiah didn't have a summer. That's why he's behind right now. Not everything not everything is a level playing field. Like JoJo, I think when we scrimmaged on Miss, he hadn't practiced yet. He'd been in on some possessions here and there, but probably never more than a minute or two. Same with Khalifa. So, um, those guys, JoJo was out June, July, August, September, June, July, August, September. We brought him back in October, but just kind of brought him along slow, which is fine. I mean, he had to do that. Same with Khalifa. Khalifa was in and out so much, we finally just said, you know what? Let's let's do an MRI and see if there's something we can clean up to allow him to move forward and get past what he's doing. So we did that in August. Um, um, Now Isaiah played in the McDonald's game, but obviously after that game he started having some issues, not with the knee, but um, issues surrounding what the knee was not responding to was strength, especially above his knee and below his kneecap, above his kneecap, below his kneecap. There's a band that goes across there that just needed to shut down and get that strengthened so he could move on. So we just shut him down. Um, Injuries are part of it. You have to accept it. So those three guys were out most of the summer. Isaiah started working himself in probably into September, October. But we were practicing in June. We were practicing in July. I was practicing 1 day a week. Kellen had them 1 day a week, and then they had their other stuff every other day. So when we did team stuff, um, I put the five best players I thought we had at the time, and that was Kingston, Milos, Emmanuel, Said Lot, and Ramon Walker or Chase. That was it. That's what we had. The other guys didn't practice. So when we played our first scrimmage, JoJo still hadn't been practicing. Khalifa wasn't practicing. Their first full week of practice was actually last week, leading up to the Mississippi State game. Um, Isaiah started going full speed, I would say, um, maybe the first week in October. So it's been a gradual build up for those guys, but that's what allowed um, Kingston to jump in there early. He kind of was out there by default. We had to put some guards out there, and I had some ideas on alternate ways I could use Milos' shooting, and so in the summer month is when you experiment. Um, Scrimmages and exhibition games, you experiment, you do what you want to do, and so that's the way we've always done it. But once Kingston got in there, it was a struggle for him. Those guys just weren't used to coming in every day at 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, you have to be at a 10 every day here. Um, that's not negotiable. And he really struggled with that. Um, but that's what I always talk about, the battle between the river and the rock. It's not me versus him, it's the program and our culture versus him. And I happen to represent those two things. But it's never the coach versus the player. But the programs are more important than either one of us. That's why we say we're all here representing or competing for something that's bigger than any of us, which is why you have to come in here and be held to a certain standard every day. And those things are non-negotiable. But Kings is no different than Marcus Sasser, who was no different than Jamal Shed, who was no different than Jarris. All your better freshmen have used to been playing a certain way. Then when they get here, it's completely different, and they have to adjust. Um, and when they realize that that old guy with that whistle over there is going to be that way every single day, And if I don't do it, here's what's going to happen. Then that's when the river usually wins, is when they give in or surrender and put their energies and effort and attitude toward doing it right versus being hard-headed and doing it wrong. So Kingston struggled with that. But again, he's not unique. They all do. The freshmen we signed this year, those freshmen will struggle next year too. So it's kind of Chancellor, you're pretty good at asking time worn questions. You know, who's going to replace LJ? Who's going to replace Jarris? Who's going to replace Marcus? Who's going to replace Emmanuel? There's no difference than the freshman struggling or the freshman having to adjust. Certain things you're going to have every year.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go back to Chris Baldwin, please. Chris, go ahead.
Kelvin, with this roster and team, how important is it that Milos, stays aggressive and is looking for a shot?
Well, the first part he did all last year, so that's nothing new. Um, but looking for a shot is, um, especially if he's paired with Kingston. Um, but we've been practicing with that since June, so Milos knows what to do.
He says that you really helped his confidence in shooting wise, that you kept telling him, he was a good shooter. You'd stop practice sometimes, pointed out. How important is that, and how have you seen that grow?
I only do that with kids I think can make shots. Now, if you're not a good shooter, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, they do keep scoring these games, right? So, but Milos was a little bit like Quentin when he came in here. He wasn't the most confident young man, but his skill set was obvious to me. Um, when I decide to recruit somebody, I'm looking through my lens, nobody else's, because nobody else's matter. And what I saw with Milos was a highly skilled, non-aggressive kid whose non-aggressiveness was tied to his confidence. So the easiest kids to motivate, Chris, are the kids with the highest self-esteem. So even though I've kind of mastered coaching the way I coach, part of that also is building their self-esteem. Because those are the kids the easiest to motivate. But some kids' self-esteem needs to be tamed, not killed or throwing a wet blanket over it, but just put some reality in it. Whereas um, Quentin or Milos, we've had some other guys like that too. They had they had to understand the reason why we recruited them because we think you can do this. Is now here's your roadmap. Here's I'm gonna put this in your car, your phone, and whatever, and we're going to put the GPS coordinates in there. And if you'll follow these things, you'll get to where you want to go. And part of that is some hard days, some great days, some low self-esteem days, some high self-esteem days. But I like our batting percentage with our kids having high self-esteem. We kind of know what we're doing in that regard. But the people see during games is not the way it is away from there. So, but our program is our program, and it is our program.
We'll go back to Joseph Duarte, please. Joseph, go ahead.
Kelvin, with football playing as well as they are right now, I was curious, just going back, I guess, maybe to your Oklahoma days, what it does for a school or a program, athletic department when football and basketball are playing at a high level. And I guess when you're one of your first years here, that was when Tom Herman was here with the Peach Bowl, and so they played well and were ranked. Just sort of what that does for a school and an athletic department.
Um, well, athletics is the front porch to the university. Um, that's not an opinion; it's a fact. And it's the one thing that connect our donors, our graduates, alumni, regardless of what academic area. You may have been a molecular biologist. I don't even know if we have that. I know we got a med school, but whether you're a med school graduate, you're a liberal arts graduate, no matter whether you're um, uh, Native American, African American, Hispanic, white, whatever, when your school, it's like when we were in San Antonio. I've seen the numbers on what that garnered. It's incredible, but that's what our fans and our alumni love is when their university is at its best. And now that football is having this kind of year, you don't have to wait for basketball season. Now it's our success started with football's first win. What's our record now? 7-1, right? Huh?
7-1. You're right.
Yeah,
7-1.
so we've gone 7-1, and it's kind of been a slow build. Um, I know Willie and his staff and his players knew how good they were, but until you go 7-1, maybe somebody else doesn't know. But that's created an excitement in October that we haven't had around here much. It's going to extend into November. And now we got a chance at the Holy Grail, which is the playoffs. And that's going to build more excitement. Well, what I'm hoping it does is stoke the coffers. You know, we need help financially. In this era of um, like the Big East schools. So think about the Big East schools and think about all the Jesuit schools that don't have football. So all of them bought into the House settlement. So 20.5 million. Of that 20.5 million, how much do you think UConn's basketball team gets? St. John's basketball team, Marquette, Creighton, Villanova. So if 15,000, what I don't know the number, I know what our number is, whatever the football team's number is what it should be. Football should get the bulk of that number because of football, the importance of football on these campuses. So the more success both sports have, because those are the two revenue sports, the more success they can have, the better every program we have in our athletic department is. So it has wide-ranging effects. The pride and being able to stick your chest out if you're a U of H graduate, to if you're a non-revenue sport, being able to get funded at the level that the other Big 12s are funded. But success, it's a success thing. And winning in football, winning in basketball, you have to have it to survive at this level, because that's the only way you're going to make it. If one of the two sports is down, it just makes it a harder road. Doesn't make it impossible, but it certainly makes it a harder road. And that's why I'm proud of our fans. Say, well, they only show up if they win. Well, that's the way it is at most schools. Yeah, I've coached at other schools. That's the way it is everywhere. Houston fans are great fans. Um, but I'm excited about what Willie and the boys are doing. Um, they're doing their job. They're doing a great job. And now it's our time to go out and support them the way they should be supported.
Thank you, Joseph. We got time for a couple more questions. If anybody has anything, does anybody have any more questions? I don't see any hands
Nope.
raised in the chat. Okay. We'll go back to Chancellor Johnson, please. Go ahead, Chancellor.
Hey, Kelvin, going back to Chris's question about confidence, I was curious when it comes to freshmen who who definitely know what they sign up for when they join the program or they commit, but for them, what is the balance of coaching them hard and not killing their confidence if they may or may not be used to that?
I just know how to do it. I don't know how to explain it. I just know how to do it, which is why our kids never transfer. I killed
Fair
their,
enough.
you kill their confidence, they ain't coming back, house. They stay. That tells you all you need to know. How we do it is, um, maybe I'll put it in a book one day, but I ain't smart enough to explain it.
Thank you, Chancellor. We'll go to Joseph Duarte again, please. Go ahead, Joseph.
So Kelvin, Kellen told us a story yesterday about Maisie, and first of all, how you basically let her and Kylan get away with anything and everything. But are you aware of the project that she did recently, where she was asked to say who her best friend is, and she listed you and all the wonderful things that you two do together? Is I mean, I know she's been around the program now. I think this might be her seventh or eighth year, but just having the kids around like that and knowing, what they mean to you and the
My
guys.
grandkids,
Yeah, but Maisie had a project
yeah,
recently.
yeah. Well, I think it was Maisie's in the second grade. So she was at Horn, she goes to Horn Elementary. And so uh, the last day of school or the last 2 days of school, they have this project where they have to write down, you know, in 2024 or 25, I guess, 25, what was your favorite color? Who are your favorite favorite, um, uh, your music, this, and this. And they said, who's your best friend? So Maisie put Papa. It took Maisie a long time to realize that I'm not in the same class as her. She just thought I was another one of her friends. But, um, you know, Maisie and I just have a unique relationship because for a long time, when I'd go over, you know, she wanted to play. And Maisie's very regimented. She has three things and she goes through them all the time. And then as she got older, she had three more things. And then we'd go to something else. Like she used to love to do gymnastics. But I would always say, okay, Maisie, we're going to do a gymnastics competition. And somebody is in front of you, and when they are done with their routine, it's your turn. So I'd say from Horn Elementary, standing 3'6", in the first or kindergarten or first grade will be Maisie Sampson. So she comes busting through the door with her hands and then she said, Papa, you didn't say go. I said, okay, my fault, Maisie, go. And there she goes with her routine. And then she said, Papa, you got to cut the music up. So I'll cut the music up. So that goes around and around and around and around all the time. And so um, recently she had a softball game. And, and after the softball game, she started crying because she struck out. And so, Kellen's on the road recruiting a lot that I'm back here. So I went to her house and I said, come on, Maisie, we're going to go outside and take batting practice. And so if you walk up to Maisie and say, make it bleed, she'll say, that's what Papa told me to do to the ball. So, Maisie and Kylan, Kylan and I have the same relationship in a different way. But I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine my life without my kids, as all of us do. We're all the same way. One day, little man is going to have kids himself, and you're going to be the same way with your grandkids. I told Karen I love my grandkids so much. I wish we'd have more kids.
Can we expect to see any? You guys post your Halloween costumes every year. Do you got something planned, or is that in Karen's wheelhouse? What she's going to have you guys do this
Now,
year?
now that's Maisie's wheelhouse. Maisie always picks out our costume, and she's been. I went over to her house the other day, and Colin was running around with his Spider-Man outfit. He's getting ready. But they got Papa wrapped around their little finger. Sometimes, if it's raining, or Maisie will come sit, lay her head on my chest and say, Papa, can you pull up Amazon? So I'll pull up Amazon. She says, let's look for something to buy. Now, what do you think I'm going to say? So Papa's over there going, okay, Maisie, what does that look like? So I wish this for the joy I have with my grandkids, I wish for everyone to have um, that would be my wish for everyone to have that same joy for your grandkids. So I'm blessed to have good health, and I'm blessed to have a great wife, great kids, great grandkids. And people ask me about winning games. I'll trade that for anything.